Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 4th of July here on Thursday Night Throwdown. There you go. What's up, Mr. Reverend Rant?
What is going on, brother man?
Nothing much. Just been trying to relax the last couple of days. As you can see, it doesn't help me with my voice.
Well, honestly, I was thinking about that, Pete, and I think the only time you actually relax is when you're screaming about something.
You know, you're probably right.
I noticed, like, when you really get going on a rant, like some of the black starts to come back into your beard, like you start aging back.
Yeah. It's getting thick. I was thinking about doing the trim today, trimming it to where it's
right,
a full beard, but not yet. Not yet.
No,
not just yet.
Let it run, man. Let it run.
I'm gonna let it get a little bit longer.
Now you got to do is get a guitar, and you can do the ZZ Top.
There you go. Yeah. Even though Mrs. PTP doesn't like it very much, but she's not here right now, so I can say that.
There you go. Don't piss off the War Department.
Yeah, we don't need to do that. Let's see what's in the chat right now. We got Vet Moore, Light Spear.
Yeah.
What's going on? Cherokee George.
Yeah. We got some rock stars in here.
38. 33 Ohio. Welcome. Now, what the heck is this name over here where it says Curve Killer on the end? FAFOTX.
I have no idea.
I have no idea either, but welcome to you. And Zombie 5, welcome. So Eyes Cry Not, good evening. Six Pack 89. I sent the invitation out to Salty Nuts and Spaz. If they come, they come. I don't know what they're doing. So, but I got some questions for you.
I was framed. That's my answer to all of it. I was framed.
I've been just relaxing and watching, of course, my TikToks and Instagrams and YouTube videos. A lot of news. And it seems to me, I don't know how much you know about this, but this thing called Agenda 25, or is that what it's called, Agenda 25?
There's Agenda 25. There's Agenda 2030. There's
no. The Heritage. Fuck around and find out, Texas. Curve Killer. Thank you very much. Got it. We're just going to call you Killer. We're going to call you Texas Killer. Not just Killer. Killer's good. Yeah, we'll call you Killer. Thank you for being here. It's the one at the Heritage Foundation.
Right.
It's whatever that one is.
They want to to reshape, and there's a lot to unpack here. That's the problem I'm having. But basically, they want to reshape our government, and our federal power back to what it's, what we agree it's supposed to be, but also give us control, a little more control over, like, if we have a runaway president, like we have had, that is not representing the people. We need a little more tooth to be able to do that. But they have this idea that they're going to do this without any major confrontation or conflict.
Mhm.
And everything that they're wanting to do, I don't see how any of that arises without conflict, because you try to take the toys away from snotty children. Snotty children are going to have conflict. I mean, it's the
Well, of
nature.
course.
Well, yeah. So
You
none of
see,
our
Band Mom says Agenda 2025 ain't Trump's, right?
yeah,
Okay.
no.
So now that's the impression that I was under, that it was the Heritage Foundation who put out this agenda of theirs about cleaning up the government. But
Yeah.
it didn't coincide
Well,
with Donald Trump's plan
no.
when he got into office.
No, this isn't the same. No, this doesn't have anything to do with Trump.
But
Imagine,
they're making it out to be like that.
yeah, but
Everybody
imagine.
is, yeah. Go
All
ahead.
right, so you studied a little bit about the I don't know, political overreach or whatever you want to call it, when everybody went
Yeah.
super Christian, during Prohibition.
Yeah.
During Prohibition times, they went like way over the top, super, almost to the point of actual fascism with the Christian values. This is like they want to make pornography completely criminal, things like that. Like that's
Mhm.
and I'm not saying that I disagree with much of it, but it's it's like a way over the top move that you can't do what they're talking about and not have conflict. You can't do it's just like the Convention of States. You're not going to do any of this stuff until you get everything right first, till you get
Mhm.
majority power among the people. And the thing, because I thought about all these, just like the issue of Convention of States, there's no point in trying to do any of it if you're bringing people who are going to be, in opposition to what you're trying to do. So you have to start anything that we do. Like everybody says, oh, we should do this or we should do that. And even people that say we should just go ahead and have civil war, because we have, that faction of people among us that want that, as of course, people on the other side too. But the reality is none of these ideas across the board, not one of them are worth shit if we don't unify the majority of the people first. Everybody
Yeah,
keeps
absolutely.
skipping past that part. If we're not unified first, then none of these ideas are going to work. Not a single one of them is going to work. We have to come together first.
Yeah, I agree. Totally. What's up, Spaz? I sent you a link if you want to come up. If you don't have to. But welcome.
Have you heard of the
Well,
group Tactical Civics?
Yeah, we talked about that a long time ago.
Yeah. They turned out to be just a boomer club, and some of their doctrine is just completely wrong. And it's okay to be wrong. I mean, it's okay to misunderstand things or be wrong about things. That's part of freedom, is the right to be wrong. But when you're starting to work on this level, you want to make sure that you get it right. So you have to be open to the conversation. You have to be open to ferreting out the truth and streamlining what you're trying to do. And the guys that run Tactical Civics are just a handful of hard-headed old men that want to make everything about them and not about our nation, and that just ruins the whole thing.
Of
And
course.
they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear that there might be a difference, in basic. I mean, we're talking about constitutional laws, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's clear cut. This isn't, emotional issues or belief issues. This is constitutional law, and if we're going to use constitutional law to straighten out the nation, because this is part of Project 25 talks about the same thing, then you have to be willing to accept that our founding fathers gave us the limits that they gave us, and they also gave us the powers that they gave us, and we have to work within that. If that's the premise, if you're gonna work within constitutional law, then
Yeah. But it seems to me that the Heritage Foundation, which I'm guessing is a conservative foundation, and a Republican foundation, that
they're
the,
ultra conservative. Yeah.
the people who are on these platforms or these apps, and they're talking about this Project 2025, are equating everybody who's a Republican or a conservative with it. Now we both know, and as everybody in the chat knows, that Donald Trump is not on board with this thing. But what they're doing is they're equating conservatives, if you want to call Donald Trump a conservative, with this whole project.
Yeah, no.
And that's where I think the big problem's coming in, is that this is not his agenda at all.
No, it's not. And here's the thing about it. Okay, so everything they want to do, and this is the real truth of it, is it's the flip side of the coin to, the left wants to play Nazi fascist, right? So the right wants to play ultra Christian fascist. That's what the Heritage Foundation is about.
Yeah.
And it still comes down to authoritarian rule. And really what the biggest problem in all of their ideas is, I mean, fundamentally, like in my values and my beliefs, I agree with a lot of the things that they say, that they want to do, this idea of Christian nationalism to a degree. But the reality is, and particularly if we value, this Constitution, this document that we love so much, then part of that process that makes that document so valuable is the adversarial process. We cannot have a nation that is a single-minded, single-party rule. We have to be able to challenge every idea, every theory, every bill that's proposed. You see what I'm saying? So even some of those leftists out there that you would really love to just walk up and punch them right in their face, just stick it to them because they piss you off. There is a place for them in this nation, because they have to, our ideas have to be challenged. It's just that we have a problem now where everybody's trying to go to extremes. And the real way that America works, it's like this issue of abortion. I'll give you a great example. And this is a metaphor for everything. All right. So I believe, as a Christian, I believe that abortion is murder. You're killing a life. Okay. And to say that it's not, makes you a liar. It makes you a damn liar. All right. You're taking a life. Now, you could try to justify to me why you think murder is okay, but it is still murder. And in my view, God uses evil to his own good. So even like a child like I know a lady right now who was raped, who was forcefully, brutally raped. Mm-hmm. The guy's in prison, but she kept the child. And she said it was hard, but she followed her beliefs, even though she had feelings. And now she says it's the greatest gift she has ever had, and she could never imagine living without her child. And the thing is that even though it was from bad circumstances, that was still a life. But here's the thing is this is the reality is I believe that life is valuable across the board, that every soul has value, as God tells us. But on the other hand, we have the left who wants to kill babies all the way, up until they're 10 years old now, I guess. So what's the compromise? The compromise is we go back to where we were, where we started all this, because that was the right compromise, where neither one of us are happy.
Yeah.
You know, what was it? You know, most states were like between 12 and 15 weeks. It was safe and rare, and it's something that you should be ashamed of, not something that you run out in the baggage in the middle of the street and brag about and wave streamers around. Hey, look how cool I am! I killed somebody. No. So that's the compromise. You see what I'm saying? And the rest of our politics should be exactly the same thing. When we compromise, when we meet in the middle, that's where we find the best answers.
I agree. And I don't think that our founding fathers, being, you know, the birthday of our country, I don't think our founding fathers ever thought that it would get to this.
No.
In a million years.
And just so everybody understands, just so you get it, you know, a lot of people have this idea that like a group of guys got together.
Thank you, DeCub.
And they sat down in a room and they're like, all right, you know, one of you grab a pen and start writing, and they just dictated out the Constitution. They're like, okay, here it is. Like they did this in an evening over a couple of beers or something.
No.
These guys argued and screamed and yelled and they put forth the most vehement ideas that they could, and they challenged each other's ideas, and they went back and forth. I mean, this document was years in the making. It was only moments in the enacting, but it was years in the making. They prayed, and that's the other thing. You know, everybody cries about separation of church and state, but you know what? They all sat in Congress, and they all together prayed for hours upon hours over this, just as much time as they spent arguing and screaming and challenging and everything else. And the point is that we were designed just like the rest of life. We were designed, and this is why the United States would be so successful if we follow it. If we follow it, too many people are trying not to follow it. We were designed for this adversarial process, just like life. We were designed to be challenged. We were designed, you know, to face our tribulations and grow stronger from them. And it's the same thing with our laws, with our ideas, everything else, that the adversarial process is the crucible of truth.
Very true. Very true.
And I know that was a little bit long-winded, but that's actually my short version, because I can do 2-3 hours on that.
Yeah, long-winded but accurate. Short-winded but accurate. Before we move on, because I want to tell you a small story. That I got involved with, speaking about abortion and stuff like that. I want to just say thank you to Stacks. Welcome. Thank you for the shades. Just Josie, welcome to you. DeCobb, thank you for all the gold pills. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much. And Miss 320 with the cookie, thank you. If I missed anybody in the chat, welcome to you guys. Sorry about my voice. I'm doing the best I can. How you doing, Mayor? Yes, happy 4th of July, Independence Day to everybody out there. I'm glad you decided to spend at least an hour, a couple hours with us here hanging out. That does mean a lot to me. And I appreciate it.
Don't go thinking we love you or anything, Pete.
Oh,
don't
we
think
do,
we're
though.
all going to sit and worry about you and miss you when you're not here. Don't think we do that.
I do. I do. All right. So what was it this morning? Now, just right around noontime. I got into a live chat on TikTok with somebody who was talking about abortion.
Right.
And adoption. And the biggest argument about adoption is that you shouldn't be able to force somebody to give birth just so some rich white person can take the baby. So I proposed that we all write our legislators and tell them to make adoption free. As long as you qualify, you make adoption free. Don't jump through all the hoops. Thank you, DeCub. You don't have to jump through all the hoops, pay the tens of thousands of dollars in order to adopt a child. Whether you want to adopt a newborn, a 10-year-old, a 20-year-old, whatever. You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I never understood about it is that.
Thank you, Renew Tone.
The actual process of adoption, like the legal process of adoption, minus all the extra add-on garbage, but the it can all be done in one motion before the court. You can file one motion, you can have one hearing, and it works. I mean, really almost similar to a wedding. Do you? Yeah. Do you? Yeah. Okay, you're done. Goodbye.
Yeah. Next.
Sign, big scrolling signature. There you go. Done. See ya. Have a good day. Next. You can almost even do drive-through adoptions. You know what I mean? Like they do in Vegas for weddings. You can be like, drive up. If you got the appropriate paperwork, your homework's been done. Everybody's signed on the dotted line. I agree with you. I don't agree with this almost morbid, process that we put people through.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Dollars. Tens of thousands of dollars.
Here's the thing that really pisses me off about it, Pete, is that so many people have kids now that shouldn't have kids. And we don't put qualifications on them. We have CPS in a hurry to hand children back to crackheads, to crackhead moms and whores and prostitutes and everything else. And like they're in a hurry to get these kids and just hurry up and give them to somebody. And you get what I'm saying? It's like, why do we do that? Why do we leave all these people that are super unqualified to have kids? And these people that are super unqualified to walk down the street by themselves, let alone have children. We're not worried about them, but we're going to put adoption parents to this vetting process that hardly anybody, that doesn't have ungodly amounts of money is going to get through.
Yeah. I think that one of the pieces of legislation that we should try and enforce when Trump gets into to office is free adoption. I think that would I already have written my Congressman Garcia about that. I never got a reply, of course, but
well, I think the problem is back to the same drum that I've been beating this entire time. Unity.
Yeah.
We need to get the people together. And all of us in one voice need to get in the faces of even the politicians that we consider the good guys, even Trump. We need to tell Trump, hey, we love you. We love you, man. We think you're a great guy. And man, you really get the job done. But let's take a minute and clarify, because this is the job we want you to do. Do that. If you're doing that, we're going to be screaming to cheer you on. If you're not doing that, then we're going to be screaming for you to get back on the projects at hand. Yeah. And if we instead, because like next Wednesday I have Moms for Liberty coming on, right, on my show.
Yeah.
Jennifer Pippin from Moms. These are amazing people. I mean, just amazing people. But the thing that I think about that is that we shouldn't need Moms for Liberty. We shouldn't need a special coalition to deal with these issues. It should be all of us.
And you know what? Your message of unity doesn't go unheard, believe it or not. I know every time that we're on the panel shows, you mention it. You talk about it on your show every day or every time that you're on. And it's a great message to
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it is. I'm not even joking. It's that's not hyperbole. It's a great message to get out there. That was a very poor Joe Biden imitation.
The thing, man. The thing.
Yeah, the thing. You know that thing. But here's the one problem that I think we have here is because, and I'm not going to say the left or the right because I don't feel right saying that,
Right.
but they're pushing for non-unity more than they'll be pushing to solve problems.
Right.
There are people who are pushing to break things up more than find solutions to fix them.
Oh yeah. And
I
even people that
think-
claim to be on our side of the fence are doing it.
Yes, absolutely. That's why I don't like saying left or right, or
Yeah.
Republican or Democrat, or I even got into saying the Uniparty because that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
one big club, and we're not in it.
It's the globalist terrorist network.
Exactly.
But we also have, the
But let
thing
me-
I noticed.
Hold on one second. Let me finish.
Oh, go ahead.
I think, and don't bite my head off for saying this, I think right now that a show like yours spreading that kind of message would do very well on TikTok. Now, I don't know if you have a TikTok account.
No,
I don't know if you
banned.
live stream over there or whatever.
No, I've been banned.
I would make another account because the contrasting message that you have to these people, there are a lot of people on that app who are craving that.
Yeah.
I see it a lot.
TikTok, I talk about, like, I do the analogy of like our analogy to Nazi Germany, since everybody keeps bringing that up, and the fall of the Weimar Republic and all that. And this is what got me banned from TikTok, is I pointing out that this is historical facts. This isn't hyperbole. I'm not calling anybody names,
Right.
anything else. I did a show talking about facts, historical facts, and that's what they banned me over. I'm not allowed to talk about that.
Well, yeah. But I think I honestly think that your show would do well there.
Yeah.
If you stick to the unity message.
Right.
Even if you just did a separate stream without all the other stuff that you talk about.
Right. Yeah. That's what, and I was thinking I've actually been thinking about doing stuff for YouTube again as well, because I had the same problem with YouTube.
Oh, I always do.
Even Facebook, like, there's an article that I wrote. It's a pretty long article, and you got to be interested to want to read it. But it's just a listing. It's a breakdown of step by step of all the major events that happened during the fall of the Weimar Republic and the rise of Nazi Germany. It's factual. It's dry. There's no political spin to it. There's no, accusations or hyperbole. It's just a dry historical document. Facebook banned my Boiling Point channel for that article.
Yeah. And the reason why they're doing that is because they don't want people to know historical truth.
Right.
Now, I've heard and I've read your articles about that. There are not very many untruths in that, but they don't want people to know what's really going on, because if they do, then they realize the patterns that they're repeating on us.
And that's the trick, is to recognize patterns. I talked about that last night in my stream.
Yeah.
Was it's almost like you were watching my stream last night, because that's what I talked about, is the the idea that like me as a woodsman, as a hunter who goes out, and where I live, it's a lot of swamp more than it is woods. But pygmy rattlesnakes, and most people, I don't know if you know it or not, but pygmy rattlesnakes are just like, when they coil up, it's just the tiniest little ball. They're called pygmies for a reason. I mean, these things are friggin' tiny. They're tiny. They're not like the big diamondback rattlesnakes that people see on TV. And when they coil up and they're, like in the brown oak leaves and stuff on the ground, they are the same exact color, same exact shade, everything of those oak leaves. And if you're not trained, you will walk right up. You probably step right on it and never even know it until it bites you.
Yeah.
But the very minute that your eye is trained, now your brain is trained to see that pattern, as subtle as it is. And it's the most, I mean, if you go look up pygmy rattlers, just look up pictures of pygmy rattlers, images, on a Google search or something, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It is so subtle. These things are so magnificent at camouflage that it's hard to discern. And if you're watching for them consciously, you almost miss it. But if your subconscious is trained to these patterns, then it stands out like a neon light, and you notice it immediately.
Yeah.
And that's the secret to all of this. The same thing. The behavioral patterns are the same thing as viewing physical patterns. Once you see that or hear that behavioral pattern, then your alarm bells go off. You're like, danger, Will Robertson, danger, Will Robertson.
And the only difference between the people who funded the rise of the Third Reich and the people who funded the rise of the Democrat fuck nuggetry is the business that they're in. We call the new rise or the Fourth Reich the social media influence,
right?
The Zuckerbergs, the Twitter guy, so on and so forth.
But here's
back in the 30s, it was Siemens, it was Krupp Steel, it was the big Carnegies,
ThyssenKrupp,
yeah.
Ford Motor Works,
exactly.
IBM, the Associated Press. Most people don't know that. The Associated Press worked for the Nazis.
Exactly. And that's the only difference between the patterns that brought the puppet Adolf Hitler to power and the puppets as far as Barack Obama, George Bush, Dick Cheney, on and on and on.
So you want to hear a little secret about that, though?
Is the corporations have changed. Yeah. What's the secret? Tell me.
The secret is that the people who own the corporations, the money and the power behind there's a subtle change in corporations, same family, same money, same investors, same, like all the money that's coming from the NGOs now, the National Endowment for Democracy, the Open World Society. We think that Soros is the bad guy out there, and he is. Don't get me wrong. He's a bad guy, but he's not top tier. He's an operator.
Oh, yeah.
Where does because he's not spending his money. He's spending our money.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So he gets access from our money because of, and predominantly, who sits at the head of the table. And we've had discussion after discussion, but who sits at the head of the table, who controls the world's economy. Every monetary, this is astounding. Whether you go to China, whether you go to Bangladesh, whether you go to Nigeria, and I mean, just 1,000, literally 1,000 countries around. Well, maybe not quite 1,000, but it's exaggeration to make a point. But hundreds of all the major nations in the world, Rothschilds own their money, not just their central bank. They own their currency. Everybody says, oh, well, the yen, belongs to China. No, it doesn't. The Chinese central bank is owned by Rothschilds. It's owned by the Bank of London. The yen is printed, minted, and owned by the Bank of London, just the same as the petrodollar is owned and operated by the Federal Reserve, which is owned and operated by the Bank of London, the House of Rothschild, right at the top of the street. It's astounding. When you follow the money, especially throughout history, kind of like you were alluding to before, even with Hitler, when you follow, you see the businesses, Carnegie and everybody else. But when you start looking at the money behind the corporations, just like you look at the money behind Larry Fink. Now, Larry Fink is a willing player, from BlackRock. He's a willing player in all of this. And in many ways, the guy's really smart. And in many ways, he's a friggin' moron. but he's a willing player, but he is only a player. He's the dealer at the blackjack table.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the other people that we just talked about that own the casino that he's
Right.
dealing at the table at.
Yep.
And as much power as he wields, he's still not the king and queen in the castle.
Nope. I'll tell you something funny. I'm a watch collector. I know you know that, right? So I subscribe to a lot of channels that talk about watches. High-end watches, low-end watches, it doesn't matter. So they showed this video of this guy walking up to this lady. And he's like, "Excuse me, ma'am." He goes, "Is that a Richard Mille watch that you're wearing?" And this phone panned down to her watch, and it was just a regular white watch. Now I own a couple of Richard Mille replicas, not real ones. I can't afford real ones. They're
Right.
replicas. The watch that this lady was wearing was a $450,000 watch. And I was like, damn. And he panned up because she kind of ignored him. She just ignored him. And he panned up and he moved the phone over. It was the Rothschild lady with her father, who looks like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons.
Yeah. Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob Rothschild, dressed in a polo shirt, and a couple of other people waiting for their limousine to show up. So these people not only own all the wealth, they flaunt it in front of you.
Oh yeah.
And they're stuck up about it. It's It's very, very hard to watch. The look that she gave this guy because he admired her watch.
Yeah.
And when you say the Rothschilds, the only thing that I can think of is World War I. When that family and a lot of predominant German families and American families funded the mass murder. And that's the only way that you can look at it, is mass murder of hundreds of thousands of Americans and Germans and French and British and Canadians and Australians for World War I, while controlling all of those countries' finances. It's very sad. Very, very sad. So,
this is something that frustrates me, is because we get some of these people that, and I don't want to get too insulting, but it's an ideal that I just completely disagree with, because history proves it. But we get some of these people that think, Hitler wasn't such a bad guy. And they like to bring up, it's the Jews, and the Goyim, and how we're seen as cattle and everything else. But the reality is that it's that specific group that actually do that. Rothschilds think of all of us as cattle and nothing more. And I don't think, my personal observation is that this isn't a problem with all Jews. It's a problem with a specific group, but there's people among them that aren't Jews also. So I can't, you get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And the problem that I have with it is not that I care about anybody else's, belief or feelings or whatever you have around the issue. It's that I think it muddies the conversation, because we're too busy arguing about all the esoteric garbage instead of dialing in on, for me, I would rather go right down the list of names. I don't want to say, these people. I want to say, no, this motherfucker right here, pardon my language, forgive me.
Specifics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say this individual right here is the one that needs to be on the stage, that beautiful shiny stage that you take the short drop with the sudden stop on. That's where my thing is. I want to say, well, these groups of people, or maybe those people over there, are kind of sort of this generality. I want to say, no, that name, that individual right there, that's my concern, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, but
the specifics, yeah.
Like you said, every organization or every group has their separate things that go on. You have your moderate Muslims, and then you have your crazy ones. I mean, that just goes for every religion, and the Jewish religion is no different.
Yeah.
But some people think that they need to blame the Jews for everything because now I'm like you said before, I don't want to piss anybody off, but
truth is the truth.
The truth is the truth. If you look into it more, it's not only that one religion that caused all the problems. It's a combination of many different religions, and organized religion as a whole is a problem.
Right.
But some people don't want to look at it that way. They just want to focus on what's the easiest to pick.
Yeah.
What's the easiest to pick? And I think that's what you were trying to say. And
exactly.
Agree. Yeah.
It's exactly like I agree wholeheartedly. Like I had somebody come to me the other day and say, well, black people is, you see them on the news, you see this problem and everything else. Like, yeah, I agree that there is a cultural issue amongst many groups of blacks that needs to be dealt with. No doubt.
Yeah.
But then I also have a friend here who's black, and he's a business owner. He's a building owner. Mm-hmm. He's a family man. He's a leader in the community. He helps. I mean, everything that he does helps literally hundreds of people. Like his daily job is putting food on the table for hundreds of people. And he's a magnificent individual. So the idea that it's attached to, color or heritage or anything else, I disagree with. I think it needs to be, we need to go after the behaviors, the actions, and indict the individuals, not get carried away. That's just.
Well, I mean, that's the easy way out. The easy way out is just to blame the entirety of it.
Yeah.
Of on one thing. You have to actually sit there and do your research and then read and do other stuff in order to really understand what goes on and what people were involved.
Right.
And even, try and take color or race or religion out of the whole equation. Right? Because look at Barack Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And his wife, husband, man, woman, whatever the hell that thing is. It's not like Barack and Michelle Obama worked their way up to the president and the first lady. And when they did get handpicked, because like Joe Biden says, look at him, he's clean cut and he smells good.
That scares me. He smells good.
That was very, very scary. But when they decided to install him as president, being the first black man and black woman as president, what did he do for the black community? Absolutely nothing.
I got a better one for you. He was an activist in Chicago, but once he became president, what did he do for Chicago? Nothing. I mean, forget everybody else. What did he do for Chicago?
Nothing.
Zilch. Zero. Zip. Donut.
What has he done for Chicago since he's been out of office?
Zip. Zero.
Nothing.
Zilch. Donut.
That's why they keep blocking his library.
And you know the thing that pisses me off with that too is they keep screaming, "Oh, racist!" Everybody hated Obama because they're racist and all this other garbage that they spew. But
No.
most of America, when Barack Obama was elected, regardless of political party, the majority of America was thrilled and ecstatic that that was the moment. We have finally overcome racism. We have achieved. We have risen to the next level. Hooray, America. I disagree with his politics, but hooray, America. And then they turned around and smacked us in the face with it.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what happened. We got
Yep.
smacked in the face. I love it when they say that Obama's administration was scandal-free.
Yeah,
No,
They just refused to deal with the scandals that came along.
exactly, exactly right. And we're not saying that Trump is the savior of all saviors, by far.
Yeah.
But, and I said this many times, the exposure that he has given to these people, just by harsh truths,
Yeah.
is well worth a second term.
That's my position.
Yeah.
Exactly. Even if he now in his first term, he did a lot of good things that nobody wants to talk about, and he gets
No.
full credit for all of those. But I'm saying this, even if he'd done nothing else except keep exposing and deteriorating all the deep state garbage actors, like that would be enough for me. Just that.
Yeah.
And everybody can cry about what he grabs or doesn't grab. You know,
Well,
I
that
know a lot of
seems to be
women that
the-
would get in line for that.
Yeah, that seems to be the thing now. People are starting to say, well, do you want somebody who was convicted of sexual assault? Do you want somebody who paid off a porn star?
He was never convicted of sexual assault. They never proved that he slept with Stormy Daniels. And quite the
I know that.
opposite. They proved,
The slander alone.
But yeah,
They're saying that type of slander alone should be a reason why you don't vote for him.
yeah.
And
I'm going to vote for him 47 times because that's a thing now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
We can just. In fact, I'm not even going to leave and come back. I'm just going to be like, hey, give me 47 of those. I'm going to go ahead and fill them all out.
Yeah, just keep putting them in the machine. You're
Yeah.
bound to get one or two of them.
Actually, you know what? You could just give me the one, and I'll do like they did in all the other places. Let's just keep refeeding it through the machine.
Yeah, that'll work. That would work.
Like the old video games. We used to take Scotch tape and make a string coming off of a quarter, and we'd slide the quarter in and then
Just
pull
stick it
it
in.
back.
Yeah.
And then get a bunch of credits. We'll do that with our ballots now. We'll just keep sliding them in and out. There you go, buddy. There you go, buddy. Yeah.
Don't say that too loud. Yeah, we might get in trouble for giving people ideas.
They'll start thinking we're Democrats.
That's right. Those are the people I don't want the ideas.
The real idea, the real truth, all joking aside, the real truth is if everybody hangs out at the ballot boxes, shows up and becomes poll watchers, all of that. I talked to a friend of mine today. There's a lady in town that I know that she's retired. She's a little bit older. She's still a total smoke show, though. I tell her that all the time. She's a good-looking woman, a beautiful little blonde woman, but and she loves it. She giggles when I tell her, but she's retired. She's okay, financially set. She's not buying yachts, but she's good.
Yeah.
She goes grocery shopping for people who can't go grocery shopping and delivers it for nothing. Like she's just a community person, and I freaking love her for that. But she also signed up to be a poll watcher because she knows, like, even in Florida, where I'm at now, there's still questions and concerns about what's going on in our local elections.
Mm-hmm.
They're still the good old boys and everything else. And we're talking even a predominantly conservative or Republican district. Don't believe that Republicans aren't abusing the system as well, that there aren't Republicans out there that are also abusing our elections. And the reality is, at least from my perspective, because this is my problem, even when we talk about, like we were talking about the difference between all Jews or specific Jews or all blacks versus specific blacks, is
Right.
I'm a priest of the Constitution. I am an ideologue. I am an absolute believer in the Constitution of the United States of America. I believe that the process works if we use it and don't cut corners. And that means even on our side, because right is right, wrong is wrong, and there isn't any left and right. It's only right and wrong.
That's right. Okay, so Nova X, those are not the polls that we're talking about. It says I am a poll watcher as long as someone is dancing on it. That's not the polls that we're talking about. Although I do agree with you, that's a good poll to watch, but not those polls. So,
well, I will tell you,
just to let you know,
if you show up somewhere and you see me working a stripper pole, don't judge. Christmas is expensive.
If you see me working a stripper pole, leave quickly, very, very quickly. Because more than likely, 2-3 spins, I'm on the floor. Yeah, no, I ain't doing that. But yeah, I think I consumed a lot of media in the last couple of days. Not live streaming. Yeah, no, it's not that. I'm telling you, it's the wrong poll. Trust me. And I'm just going to reiterate what I said earlier. Not only will you probably do well with your point of view on that platform, you'd probably get a very big gathering very quickly, because your points of view, even historic or non-historic, if you keep it within a certain parameter, as not to get kicked off, will would spread your message very well. I wholeheartedly believe that.
I might give it a shot. I have another account on TikTok.
Even the ones that are conservative on TikTok are not educated. There are some, and what I mean by some is maybe 1 or 2 that really understand what's going on. The rest of them are pretenders. They just don't. They don't understand what's really happening in the world. You know, a few minutes of CNN and Fox News.
One of the things that we have a problem with, one of the things that I'm noticing a lot of, just like these sissy babies that I got the whole lawsuit thing going on with. Their ego, they're so fed into their own egos that they can't stop and just for a minute take their own inventory and realize that they're the bad guys. Because at the end of the day, you know, it's like we were talking about, it's if everything you're doing is about serving yourself and you're willing to divide others for your own ego, then you're not the right person. You need to sit down and shut up.
Yeah.
And the rest of us,
I think of, to be perfectly honest, is that a lot of these youngsters with that kind of attitude that you're talking about, what's going to happen a year from now, 2 years from now, when all of this is said and done? There's no more stuff to fight over, because this is all going to go away eventually.
It's never going to go away.
No, it's going to go away.
The names are going to change.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I mean. But they're not going to have Trump to beat up on every day. And what are these 19 and 20 and 21-year-olds? What are they going to do?
They're going to pick a new boogeyman, They're going to make a straw man because, I mean, think about this. Think about this because there's the real Trump. There's the Trump that we know. And then there's straw man Trump. There's the boogeyman straw man Trump that the left made up so they could hate him.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's the name of the game and the other thing that I notice is there's so many people that are more worried about clicks and claps than they are worried about truth and facts.
Yes. That's exactly.
They would rather
correct.
they would rather have somebody clapping for them, or they'd rather have people have all kinds of reasons to be outraged and upset. Oh my God, I'm so offended, because people that are offended, log in.
Yeah.
They click.
And
that's why we see see clickbait porn all over the internet. There's a lot of these places that are like, oh yeah, we're the news, but all they're offering you is clickbait garbage.
Exactly.
What was it? I think Newsweek or one of them. Was it News? I think it was Newsweek. But there's a handful of them that when you read their front page, it looks like, I mean, no bullshit. It looks like the old National Enquirer or what was the other one? The Star.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Aliens took my wife.
Yes.
They got some bald-headed redneck standing there. That's what it looks like. It's all outrage. He said, she said, clickbait garbage. And none of it has anything to do with news or any kind of educated point of view whatsoever.
Because I think the more confusion that you throw into the mix, the better off they are.
Yeah.
Because if the truth really came out, what good does that do them?
Well, the other thing too is a lot of people don't realize this, but even like that little retard Harry Sisson.
Yeah.
And that guy, oh my God, he's dumb. He's dumb. He's going to get his ass whooped is what he's going to do.
It's sad. He's a very sad little individual.
But here's the thing is social media and especially TikTok has taught him that if he says this over the top stupid garbage that he likes to spew, that's what gets him clicks. The more controversial, the more of a shithead that he acts like, that's what gets him clicks. That's how he makes his money. And so that's what he keeps doing. And most people don't realize it. And I would love for everybody, if I could get like everybody who's even moderate, we don't have to say conservative, but everybody who's just a common sense American, stop responding to these people on social media, block them, ignore them. Don't give them your clicks, because so many, but I would say probably 3/4 of Harry Sisson's little bullshit following is people that hate him.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And if every one of those people just suddenly all blocked him and stopped engaging, he'd have no more audience. He would whittle down to like 10 people, and everybody would realize, okay, he is retarded, my bad, and then leave.
And then there's a lot of people on TikTok that make videos in opposition to his videos.
Yeah.
That basically call him out every time he does a uploaded video, besides a live stream.
He smiles his face off when
loves
they do.
It. Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely loves it.
Do you know what? You know what that little tard makes? Just his fundamental paycheck, because he gets a paycheck through an agency.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
No. This is documented fact. It's already been proven.
Oh.
He gets a paycheck from, it's like an acting agency that's being paid by, the Democrat terrorist network. He makes $214,000 a year just from them. He's a paid actor that works for an acting agency. He makes $214,000 a year, but then everything that he makes off of social media, off of his subscriptions and ad share on X, the stuff that he makes on Twitter, all of that. This little dumbass kid, and in many ways he is a dumbass, but in many ways he's actually pretty friggin' smart too, because this kid's pulling in better than $500,000 a year.
Okay. I mean, good for him, but
he's making his money off of keeping us pissed off.
Yes.
And if everybody's just blocked him, just block him all the way across the board, block his stupid ass, Don't engage. He's going to say something that's going to piss you off. That's what he does. That's his job, is to keep you pissed off so that you keep responding, making response videos, clicking on his stuff, everything else. TikTok says, oh my God, look what a great influencer you are. Here's some more money. Here, let me get the little money gun out and make it rain. Point the money gun everywhere.
With the hearts. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, every 5 seconds. Thank you. With a heart. I mean, thank you for donating to the channel.
And then when he's done, he clicks over and he looks at his little financial edit sheet that shows him everything that he's made, and he sits there and he rubs his little butthole and he smiles, and
I'm sure
him and Chris Mallory, spank each other off or whatever they do. I'm not sure what gay people do, but
I don't know. I really don't know.
But that's the other part of it, that he presents this face like he's some sort of serious pundit or something like that, but
he's nowhere even close.
He's another gay kid, and for all the money that he makes, he still lives with mommy and daddy in Georgia.
Oh, I'm sure.
I could, and this is the funny thing is his address isn't all. I've looked it up. His address isn't hard to find at all. He was crying not too long ago. He's like, "Can you believe people were protesting right in front of my own house? I was so scared. Oh my God." It's like, dude, you say the most outrageous shit and you think people aren't going to be pissed off at you? You're not hard to find, just like anybody else.
Nova X said, get off of TikTok and Insta and Twit and Facebook and. But here's the thing. You're right. Right? We should be getting off of these platforms.
Right.
But in order to figure out what these guys are talking about, and the direction that they're taking their narrative,
right?
People like me and Reverend Rand and content creators who are in opposition to that kind of content, we're forced to consume that shit. Yeah. Because otherwise, we can't combat it. Right? We can't combat the things that they're saying and then bring them to you guys and say, hey, look, if you come across this person, don't believe anything that they say because he's a dumbass. That's the only reason, and I've explained that a billion times, why I consume so much CNN and MSNBC and Fox News and Bloomberg and Breitbart. On and on and on and on.
On my show, I would say for every 10 articles that I talk about on my show, 10 specific topics, there was probably close to 100 articles that I read to single out to weed out. There's a lot of articles too, like you and you've probably seen this as much as I have, is that you see the headlines and you're like, oh, that's something we need to pay attention to. I mean, that headline screams pay attention. And then you open up the article and you go through it and there's no fact. It's all fluff and bullshit. And you're like, okay, skip that, go to the next one. But the thing is now you just lost 10 minutes looking at that article. And 10 minutes doesn't seem like that much until 50 articles later.
Yeah, it does. And that's the big reason why when I do my shows, I put on CNN, I'll put on MSNBC, I'll put on something like WeOn or First Post, Fox News, because those are the second, third, fourth backup articles or stories that I can confirm the first story that I was picking on.
Right.
It's easier to listen to the mainstream media spin than it is to listen to some unknown person talk without the right vernacular, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it does. One of the things that I do a lot of too, and I don't know if you do this or not, but I actually go out and look for like news outlets from around the world. Like I
Oh,
watch
yeah.
news from India, like
Me
Sky
too.
News from Australia, because they're just funny. Like they
Yes.
they love, if you watch Sky News, these people love ragging on American news, American politics. And dude, they make fun of us constantly. And here's the worst part is well, two worst parts. One, they're right. Everything they say is absolutely correct. Everything they're making fun of us for is spot on. But the other one is that they're really good at it. When they do it, it's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, the Canadians are the same way.
Yeah, and I'm offended, but that's funny.
But that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, unfortunately, we have to consume media like that in
Yeah.
order to get our points across. But I'm going to tell you why, Reverend Rand. I'm going to have to wrap this up. We've been on for over an hour, and I ain't got no more left in me.
I feel you, man.
It's I'm starting to take breaths to talk. Oh, good Lord. I got a doctor's appointment on Tuesday, and I got to see what he can do about my voice box here. See what he says. So, anyway, anything else you would like to part with? Tell us what you're doing for the rest of the week, or any special shows you got coming up.
The big one is, I have all my normal show times. Everybody knows how to find me. Wednesday of next week, on the 10th at 9 p.m. Eastern Alligator Time. I've got Jennifer Pippin from Moms for Liberty. And this woman, I've worked with her before because I'm also an executive committeeman with the Republican Party here in my county. And so I've worked with her. I've seen her presentations. I've talked, I've spoken with her. This is one energetic and well-educated, lady. She is, I mean, just dialed in, and she knows how to present. So I think it's going to be an amazing conversation. When I talk to her on the phone, just between us, it's friggin' amazing. So I think everybody dial in. It's well worth. I've been advertising it all week. I'm going to keep advertising it. Everybody that you can invite and bring along. I want to make this a big show. There's a lot of great things that she's going to talk about. They're pushing an abortion law here in Florida that we need to have a talk about, because they're advertising one thing when the law says another, things like that. There's things we got to worry about. So it's going to be a fantastic conversation. So jump in for that if you would, please.
Absolutely. All right, man. Thank you very much for hanging out with me on the
anytime, brother.
On
Man,
Independence Day. I greatly appreciate it, and we will definitely be tuning into that show. And have a great rest of your night.
You too.
I'm going to talk to you later.
And everybody remember to say your prayers and brush your teeth.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
Good night.
Good night. All right, everybody. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. I greatly appreciate that. But I just don't have any more voice left. I would love to stay on another hour and talk with the Reverend, but I just can't do it. So thank you guys on Reverend Ranch channel, all the people on his X and Rumble and D Live, and everybody that's on my YouTube D Live X. And of course, my pill.net. Thank you to everybody who gave the gold pills, red pills, and the blue pills. You are greatly appreciated. And I will see everybody as soon as I can see you. Let's put it that way. If I can talk for an hour without my voice or my throat hurting, I will definitely try and do a show. Thank you for the cookie, Judy. I appreciate it. And I will talk to you all very, very soon. Love you guys. Bye.